Hey guys, it is me. Hold on, I'm just gonna do something with my camera to see if it's me, Tyson. Today we're gonna be watching something on YouTube and see what's on YouTube. Hold on. Now I'll get it to load. Dang it, the wrong time. Don't think we're believe these kids.
Everybody else might like it, but me and you.
So, let's get do you feel sorry for him?
Perfectly orchestrated, perfectly Pinot. Mark West, totally devoted to Pinot. First things first, I'ma say all the words inside my head. I'm fired up and tired of the way that things have been. Oh, ooh, the way that things have been. Oh, ooh. Second, don't you tell me what you think that I can be. I'm the one at the sail, I'm the master of my sea. Oh, ooh, the master of my sea. Oh, ooh. I was broken from a young age, taking my soak into the masses, writing my poems for the few that look at me, took to me, shook at me, feeling me, singing from heartache, from the pain, taking my message from the veins, speaking my lesson from the brain, seeing the beauty through the. Hey, you make me a believer, believer. Hey, break me down, you put me a believer, believer. Let the bullets fly, let them rain. My love, my drive, it came from.
It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos,
No
need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos. Across the street, tacos. All you can eat, lettuce and shells, cheese and meat. Tacos. Yum, 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 yum. It's like a dream. Yum, 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 yum.
And this is my dog Princess. Hey Princess, you're on the camera. You're on camera.
Planet Dolan. Planet Dolan.
From being forced to not wear pants to school to being tied to a tree, the Planet Dolan crew reenact some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the weirdest punishments our parents ever gave us. I'm Zaragamba, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by Poppletron. One time when she was younger, Ladybot decided to feed the birds. She grabbed some cereal and opened the window, then proceeded to throw handfuls of cereal outside. When her mum found out what she was doing, she made Ladybot go outside and clean it up from the planter strip where it had landed. As a punishment for wasting the cereal, she had to use that cereal for breakfast, dirt and all. Number 9 was submitted by Captain Bumpy. When Spinal Palm's dad got tired of him leaving his toys scattered all over the yard, he told Spinal Palm that he'd tie them around his neck if he ever did it again. Spinal Palm didn't think he was serious until he found himself standing in the yard with a couple of those big-ass metal toy trucks hanging around his neck by a string. His dad let him off after about 30 minutes, but since then, he always puts his toys away. Number 8 was submitted by Fancy Zebra 341. Back when Gergak was in high school, his class had an assignment to go out and sell candy bars around their school and to their families. Gergak managed to collect $60 from his generous parents and relatives. On the day before he was supposed to give the money away to the school, he came across a game store. Being a huge gamer, Gergak really wanted a brand new game that was on sale only for that day. There were only a few copies left of the game because it was so popular. He realized it could be his last chance, so without thinking, Gergak decided to use the fundraiser money to buy the game. For a while he thought he'd gotten away with it, but not long after, his parents confronted him with a call from the school saying that he hadn't turned in the money. They asked him where the money was, to which he showed them the game. They were mad and told him to return the game, but during the past few days, Gergak threw away the receipt. For punishment, they dragged him to the kitchen table and sat him down. They gave him a cup filled with what looked like a smoothie. His parents told him to drink it, and he took a little sip, but immediately started to gag. They blended onions and garlic into a smoothie, along with the chocolate that he had sold them. The nasty taste made him want to vomit, but his parents made him drink it anyway. Gergak was only able to finish half of it before he vomited all over the table. His parents made him clean up his own puke before sending him to his room. He then vowed to never spend money that wasn't his ever again. Number 7 was submitted by Mr. Pizza 700. When Mkalam was 9 years old, he got punished for talking back to his parents. So, his weird punishment was that he was forced to go to school without his pants. He only wore a red long-sleeved shirt with a black and white t-shirt over it, and his tighty whities. He went to school dressed like that for an entire day, and was super embarrassed. Of course, the whole school started laughing at him. He had a group of 4 bullies, all older, come up to him and start calling him names such as Tidy Whitey Boy and 9-year-old No Pants. Mkalam started crying his eyes out and went to the principal to explain the whole thing. The principal caught the bullies and they were expelled. He then gave Mkalam a pair of denim pants to wear for the rest of the day, even though they were a little tight. Later that afternoon, everyone in the whole school saw him in the cafeteria and comforted him. Number 6 was submitted by I'm Such a Whore. Back when he was 7 or 8, Civil Spider lived in Jamaica, and one day his mum sent him and his cousin to a store to buy themselves lunch. They had like 300 Jamaican dollars with them. After buying all the stuff, they had 100 Jamaican dollars left. So, Civil Spider took that money and, like an idiot, spent it all on sweets. When they got back home, his mum found out and brought him over to a tree and tied him to it. She left him there for a few hours, crying for mercy until she finally released him. From then on, Civil Spider wasn't really interested in sweets anymore. Number 5 was submitted by Enclave Sergeant. The weirdest punishment Sweet Commando's parents ever gave him was when he had to go outside and pick up every little stick, leaf, and loose piece of grass. He was out all day doing that, but it only got better. After that, they made him clean the entire house with only a sponge, and said that everything had to look brand new. Then, Sweet Commando had to cook dinner, wash the dishes, and cut and squash strawberries so that his mother could make a pie. Needless to say, he never did anything bad ever again. Number 4 was submitted by You Took Them. Gooby and her sister Snoopy were fighting about who should get the last piece of candy. Their mum walked in on them fighting and, after a few minutes of watching them fight, said, "That's enough. The two of you are going to stop fighting." The punishment was for Gooby to go to the coldest room in the house with nothing on, while Snoopy's was to go to the hottest room in the house and wear all the jackets they had. Number 3 was submitted by Captain Banana 87. When James Shark was younger, his parents would leave him with his grandmother. Sometimes he would throw fits like every young kid does, but she had no patience whatsoever. So when he misbehaved, she would put him against a wall and he would have to put a quarter between his nose and the wall. James Shark would have to stand there for an hour, and if the quarter moved, he'd get a spanking. She did that to him because her strict dad did it to her too. Number 2 was submitted by Tamin Abusos. When Legner was in 8th grade, he just couldn't keep his grades up. His parents had made numerous attempts to right the issues such as tutoring and even testing for learning disabilities. All had failed, much like his test scores. So his dad decided that it was time for a new approach. He punished Legner by making him stand on a street corner with a sign displaying his grades. Legner actually chose this punishment over the other option, which was to forego his cell phone for 2 weeks. Soon after, his family got a visit from Child Protective Services, who wanted to check up on Legner's well-being after word spread about the strange punishment. Number 1 was submitted by me. One time in 2nd grade, I was going to meet my mum after school to go shopping for new clothes. The store was just around the corner, so I had no reason to be late, but I got caught up with some friends and ended up being about half an hour late. As an unusual punishment for that one, my mum made me wear 4 watches for 4 weeks, and she communicated it with the school to make sure that they were enforcing it. So I had to walk around like a dork for 4 weeks with 4 watches on. I was still late for stuff, you can't change me. A huge thanks to the folks over in our Planet Dolan subreddit for submitting their stories. We have another question for you. What's the worst thing your parents ever did to embarrass you? Planet Dolan.
From demonic murdering of police officers to randomly killing innocent animals, the Planet Dolan crew reenacts some of the best true stories from our subreddit about the worst things that we've ever had a babysitter do. I'm Doopy, and today I'll be your narrator. Number 10 was submitted by My Thoughts YT. When Dolan was 10 years old, his mom had to work late one night and found a babysitter online. When the babysitter arrived, she said hi, but she had a pretty weird grin on her face. Later on, Dolan was in his room playing video games, and he could hear the babysitter talking in the next room. He assumed she was on her phone. Half an hour passed, and he went down to the living room, but froze in shock. The babysitter was crawling like a spider on the ground, and when he asked if she was okay, she started mumbling in this weird voice like a demon. Dolan ran back to his room and called the police. When the officer arrived, the babysitter stabbed him with a knife. And when the second officer came, he quickly shot the babysitter dead. His mom never worked a night shift again. Number 9 was submitted by Katie Rook. When Spincess was little, she had a babysitter that didn't know how to deal with kids. One night, everything was going as planned, but then the teenage babysitter decided to have a tickle war. She pinned Spincess down on her bed and tickled her, even though Spincess was pleading with her to stop. Spincess was laughing so hard that she got to the point where she couldn't breathe. She started coughing, and the babysitter patted her on the back. Spincess then projectile vomited everywhere. The babysitter stood there in shock, completely covered in vomit. All she could say was,
That's what you get, man.
Number 8 was submitted by Loopy Bats. When Gooby was about 5 or 6, she had a babysitter who was about 80 years old. Her parents went away for a weekend holiday and left Gooby with the elderly babysitter for a few days. Gooby woke up in the middle of the night to get a glass of water when she heard a weird noise, so she decided to investigate. She went downstairs and looked outside into the garden. Lying in the middle of the grass was her elderly babysitter in complete darkness, stroking a teddy bear. She went outside to see what she was doing, and the lady just said, "What a nice day it is out here." Old people, am I right? Number 7 was submitted by Crow Lords 333. Gergak was getting home late at night and his parents were out, so they got a babysitter. The babysitter was nice to his little sister, but whenever he was in the room, she was a complete bitch. So when Gergak walked into the house, he was wearing a scarf over his mouth and a leather jacket because it was snowing outside. The babysitter screamed and grabbed a chair and hit him over the head with it. He yelled and showed her it was just him, but she continued to break the chair over the back of his head. He had to get stitches, and for some reason, his parents praised her for defending herself against an intruder. Number 6 was submitted by KidLike 101. When Zaraganba was 6, he was playing quietly while his babysitter, who was actually his grumpy uncle, was sitting in the next room watching TV.